Stealth is one of my favorite genres in gaming. Dishonored, Hitman, Splinter Cell. This genre has given us some absolute bangers, but lately it feels like stealth games just don't get talked about that much anymore. I recently started playing 007 First Light, and it reminded me how much I actually love this type of game. Planning, patience, the tension of staying unseen, and that feeling when everything somehow works out exactly how you want it. It genuinely made me realize how much I miss stealth in games. And honestly, I don't really know why this genre doesn't get more attention, because when stealth is done well, it's one of the most satisfying things in gaming. I think the reason stealth games hit so hard is because they make you feel clever in a way that most genres don't. It's not just about beating enemies, it's about reading the room. You enter an area, take in how everything is set up, and your brain immediately starts working, trying to figure out a way through without anyone even noticing you were there. That's what makes it satisfying. You're not just moving forward because the game told you to. You slow down, look around, and start figuring things out. You wait for the right moment, change your plan when something goes wrong, and try to slip through without everything falling apart. And when it works, it feels amazing because it doesn't feel like you just overpowered the game. It feels like you outsmarted it. Dishonored is probably the first game that comes to mind for me when I think about that feeling. That game makes stealth feel creative. You're not just crouching behind cover waiting for one guard to walk away so you can move on to the next spot. The whole map is basically your stealthy little playground, and there are so many ways to get where you need to go. Maybe you sneak across the rooftops, maybe you freeze time for a few seconds and just walk past the guards like they're not even there. Maybe you turn into a rat and crawl through some disgusting little vent because apparently that is also an option. And that's what makes Dishonored so good to me. One mission can play out in completely different ways depending on how you approach it. You can go full ghost where nobody ever sees you, nobody dies, and your target somehow disappears without the whole place even realizing what happened. Or you can go full murder mode and kill everyone in the building if you're a psychopath or something, I don't know. And Hitman has that same feeling but in a completely different way. In Hitman you're basically just an assassin dropped into a big location with one target you need to kill. Sounds simple, but then you get there and the whole place is alive. There are guards, civilians, routines, restricted areas, people walking around, conversations happening, and suddenly the simple objective becomes this weird puzzle you have to solve. Maybe you steal a chef outfit, walking into the kitchen like you belong there, poison the food, and your target dies without anyone even realizing you touched anything. Or maybe you do it the old-fashioned way. Sneak into their room, pop them in the head, and somehow get out of there before the whole place loses its mind. And while we're popping things, you could pop that subscribe button too. Anyway, that's what I love about stealth games. They give you an objective, but the fun comes from deciding how you want to get there. You're not just following a straight line, you're looking at the level, looking at the tools the game gives you, and figuring out your own way to make it work. And I don't mean games where stealth is just an option, like I enjoy games like Far Cry or Ghost of Tsushima, where you can sneak around if you want to. I'm not against stealth elements being added into other games, that can be fun too. But that's not really what I mean when I say I miss stealth games. I mean games where stealth is the whole point, games where the levels, the enemies, tools, objectives, even the way you think are built around staying unseen. That's the type of game I miss. Because these days a lot of games have stealth in them, but not that many games fully commit to being a stealth game. And I think that commitment is the important part. Because when stealth is just one option, you can usually be kind of sloppy with it. You sneak around for a while, maybe take out few enemies quietly, and if everything goes wrong, whatever, you pull out a gun or a sword and just kill everyone. And that can still absolutely be fun. I'm not saying it can't, but it just doesn't hit the same way. To me, that kind of stealth can sometimes feel like stealth only until something goes wrong. Then the game just turns into combat, you kill everyone and the game doesn't really punish you for it. But in actual stealth games, getting caught usually matters. And I think that's the big difference. When the whole game is built around stealth, staying unseen is not just a bonus, it is the point. The tension comes from knowing that one mistake can ruin the plan, and that makes every little decision feel more important. Because when stealth is done well, it doesn't need constant explosions or massive boss fights to be exciting. Sometimes all it needs is one guard, one bad angle, and one stupid mistake waiting to happen, and maybe that's why this genre has always stuck with me. It makes me feel like I actually understood the level, made a plan, adapted when it went wrong, and somehow pulled it off. And that feeling is just so satisfying. So yeah, I miss stealth games, not the ones that just let me crouch in tall grass for 5 minutes before turning into an action game. I mean real stealth. Titles that commit to the idea, ones that trust you to be patient, pay attention, and figure things out yourself. And I just wish we got more games like that. Please tell me your favorite stealth games in the comments, I need more of them in my life. Subscribe and I love you, bye!